Everyone, this is Sifu Z, and this is a flash stream of the Dirty Dojo session. The weather has been exactly that. It's been weather. Uh, we've had just lots and lots of rain. So, being of the nomadic species, I've had to postpone uh, a lot of the Dirty Dojos. Yeah, we don't want muddy dojo. No, well, I wouldn't mind a muddy dojo, but gear, right? Electronic gear, phones, cameras, they don't like that. They don't like the mud. They don't like the wet, and they don't like the mud. So, how's everybody doing? This is sort of a flash stream. I don't know if we're going to get to do any training. I figured let me just make sure you guys know I'm still here. We're still doing the Dirty Dojo. It's scheduled for Fridays at 9:30. It's been so long now I have to think. Yes. And yeah, the weather has, but I figure we're going to change the game plan. So for those of you that how shall I say this? Well, if you want to join us, yeah, make sure to subscribe and to hit the notification bell because then that will let you know when I do these flash streams. So I think that's the best way to say that. Yeah, I'm just going to have to do this weather permitting. And it might be a long March. February was very mild. This feels more like February than February did. Although it was only 40 degrees this morning, it felt much colder. Wind wasn't blowing all that much. There was a wind, but boy, did it feel much colder than 40. I had to put two jackets on. So yeah, we'll for March, maybe even for April. I'm sure May will clear up. So but certainly for March, uh, and perhaps for April, I'll do these streams. I'll do these flash streams. If anybody shows up, then I'll be able to answer your questions, and I may be able to include a workout session within one of these flash streams. Even maybe. uh, what I wanted to share with you today in this stream is I've been doing my cardio 2, 3 days a week. I'm doing it around a couple baseball fields, 3 baseball fields, and a rack and a tennis court. Sure, like what, 2 football fields, something like that. So, been running around uh, that using it as my track. And it turns out, well, there's a, a disc golf field. So now I can just run the disc golf field. You can tell it's really hilly. So yeah, we're getting some a good workout running up this hill. I don't know if you could see maybe a better idea of the grade, but yeah, it's grueling. I love it. Uh so I'm able to run this disc golf field and around the tennis courts, which are at the bottom of this field, and I'm able to get around it 3 times, just shy of 3 times in 20 minutes. So my goal is to try to get a solid 3 laps in within 20 minutes, and it's grueling. It was harder today than it was the day before, so or the couple days before. Um, I guess that's another thing to share with you. I do my Wing Chun training, and I also do serve weightlifting and cardio training. And I mostly do the weightlifting and cardio training void of being very active. Yeah, I spent a lot of time as a musician just sitting and playing, working on the computer, stuff like that, the usual lifestyle. So it occurred to me that it would probably be the best thing to do is to supplement weightlifting, bodybuilding, and light cardio, not heavy cardio, but some light cardio. If I if I had some more meat on me, if I fatter, if I were fatter, then oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to. It's your birthday. It's somebody's birthday. So shout out to the Party Grumble. Yeah, happy birthday. You're a March baby. Let me share something about March that maybe you didn't know, but March is actually for the god Mars, not for the planet, but for the god Mars. Marius, I believe it's the name was from the Greeks, Romans, something like that. So, and Mars or March rather used to be in Roman times. It used to be the first day of the month. Yes. So, Tamer, Lafferty, Aloha, Justin made it. Amazing. Tanner, what's up? So I just finished jogging. I do 3 laps of this disc golf field. It's really nice. I didn't know. I knew we had a disc golf field, but I didn't think it was this nice. Maybe it's just not this nice during the summer because it gets really stupid hot here in the summer. So yeah, I do just shy of 3 laps in 20 minutes. So I'm trying to break my record there and get a nice solid 3 laps in within a 20-minute time. So anyway, I'm talking about this stream, by the way, is in relation to martial arts and martial art exercise, martial art influenced exercise. So the subject matter here is martial arts and exercise. So yeah, just FYI, Y- I have an open door here, so if this is something that interests you, you're welcome. If you have any questions regarding martial arts, I've been training in martial arts since I was 4 years old. I'm now about 86, something like that. Can't can't count anymore. So, all right, and Justin, I will leave the moderation up to you, sir. So if anyone is inappropriate, just go ahead and kick them out. All right. So, Justin, if you have any questions, let me know. So, yes, I do the martial art training and then I do the cardio and the bodybuilding um, on top of that. So, let me see. Anything, bro, is not giving out his number. Yeah. What is up with that, right? Hmm. Yeah. It is 1-800-666-6666. There you go. Yeah, give me a call. So I've got nothing but rain scheduled for like the next 10 days or maybe longer. I don't know. But certainly for the next 10 days, it's not even rain. It's just overcast, which means it will just rain at any given point at any given area. Uh, yeah. But that gives me an opportunity to just instead of scheduling a stream, I'll just do the stream when we have a little break in the weather. Look, oh man, it's beautiful right now. Look at the skies. You wouldn't know that it was absolutely. It's been miserable this morning, especially. Like I said, it was like only 40 degrees, which isn't cold for me, but it for some reason 40 degrees was feeling like 30. Weird. And there wasn't that much of a breeze. There was a little breeze, but not much. So yeah, that was strange. Like I said, it felt more like February now in March. And if you're wondering where I'm at here, I'm in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains on the Tahoe side. So there you go. If anybody has any martial art questions or any exercise questions, bring them on. Yeah, let's hear them. So let's see. I was talking about cardio. Yeah, if I were bigger, for some reason I'm ashamed. I don't want to say fatter, but yeah, if I were fatter, if I ate a lot, which I'd love to eat, I'd love to eat a lot, but I just don't. It's hard. Is that my stomach is only so small, right? But if I were fatter, then I would probably really focus more on cardio. I wouldn't do protein powders, maybe 5 milligrams of creatine. Yeah, maybe. But I would just focus uh, on cardio. They say that the best weight reduction exercise starts in the kitchen. So that's definitely true. So if you've got too much weight on you, then it it probably doesn't behoove you to do like protein powders and stuff like that. Creatine, yes, because that just helps with uh, recuperating the muscles. Oh, that sun is wonderful. Look at that. Look at that. Hey, I still got it. Somebody here in chats is asking an 86-year-old for their number. Damn, damn, I still got it. Uh, yeah, yeah. So that's why I don't do much more than 2 or 3 days a week of cardio. I probably enjoy doing more cardio because, man, it's a challenge running up hills and stuff. But then I would get too skinny. That's for sure. So now I'm just for the first time in many, many, many years, I'm focusing on my diet and trying to gain some weight so I could turn that weight into muscle. The problem with gaining weight and turning it into muscle is you're gonna go through a fat thing where there's a certain amount of fat. Yeah, and then you got to burn that fat off. It's just how it goes, right? So how much cardio do I do? Well, I already said, but I'll say it again. You're too busy asking for my number, which is weird. But I haven't. No one's asked for my number since I was in junior high school. Yeah, yeah. I graduated from junior high school. Anyway, uh, 2 to 3 days a week, 20 minutes, and multi-surface. So I don't like flat. I don't like running on pavement. So more like trail running. I like doing about 20 minutes of trail running or crawling. If you're going up this hill, sometimes you're so out of breath, you're just crawling hand over foot. All right. But the weight now, if you have some extra weight on you, the good news is you can focus on your cardio, right? You still don't want to do too much cardio, right? Maybe every other day or something. Yeah. And stay active every day, but do actual cardio exercise every other day if you're trying to burn some weight. And but the good news is, especially if you don't want like cardio, nobody really likes cardio. but that's why you want to do more of it. Yes, 86 or something. I think maybe more, maybe more. Yeah, I only graduated junior high school, so never learned to count beyond 50. Yeah, so uh, if you got some weight on you, then you're weightlifting. You've got some stuff that you can turn into muscle. So, in some ways, you might be ahead of the game because now you don't have to put on weight. You just have to lose weight and turn what you got into muscle. So that's a good thing. And heavy people, like somebody that's 50, 100 pounds heavier than they should be. All right, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, drum roll, please, for Sifu Chad. Hey, for some reason I knew you'd be out in the out and about. I knew you'd be out and about.
Yeah, I am out and about. I'm actually at the well, I'm not in the coffee shop now, but I was in the coffee shop getting my some of my geoscience work done. But but hello, I guess it cleared up over there.
You'd never know that it was absolutely miserable just moments ago. And as like I was telling everybody, I realized that this disc golf course, I'm at a disc golf course, I'm at the top of it right now, but it's a grueling uphill run. And so I've been using it instead of running around the tracks, Uh,
Oh, very nice.
so it's more like a trail running kind of a thing. And yeah, really fun, man. I'm stoked on it. So as I was running on this, I realized, wow, okay. And I even texted you, right? I was like, "Hey, it's the first moment I get." Well, I didn't know it was going to be like 15 minutes. Yeah. So, Seafood Chad is in the Colorado mountains right now. Are you snowboarding, or are you just doing
No,
work?
I'm just doing work. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
can't, I can't snowboard, but yeah, we're getting some snowballs right now. It's not they're like almost hail balls in a way.
Well, this is the
But yeah, we're
best
getting.
reception I've gotten from you in a long time. Yeah, you
Yeah, the reception
usually,
in the house isn't that
yeah.
good.
Well, you're right by a coffee shop, right? So you probably got some decent, cell service, right? I actually don't have good cell service here unless it was just some brainstorm. Like, I could stay here in this park. I just gotta jog up the hill, and then there's 3, 4 bars up here at the top of the hill. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
really cool because this town is literally going after nomads like crazy. They're like, hunting us down like wild game.
That's not cool. Why can't
Yeah.
they just mind their own business?
Well,
Oh,
they
but their
are.
rebuttal is, "You are my business." That's what their
Yeah,
rebuttal
no,
is,
they
right?
are, man. They got to sell real estate, man. Us as nomads are just a direct threat to people, to the whole concept of real estate. God help them if everybody buys a Sprinter and just tries to live free, God help them,
Indeed.
you know. One,
That'll be the day, man. We'll have the
uh,
sprinter and we'll have the warehouse. We'll have double sprinter and in double warehouse, maybe.
Hey, or I love that. I love it. I'm not pushing against that at all. I'm all for that. But you always have to have an alternative. So or complete freedom with a backpack.
Or complete freedom with backpack. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You want to just end it all, folks. You really you just want to end it all. All right, then I'll backpack. I know how to live in the wilderness, so whatever.
No, man, we can't end it all. We have a duty.
I know, man. I'm not. I'm Well, you know the Sifu Z law.
Yeah,
Expect the best, prepare for the worst. So the best is
indeed.
definitely a half pipe with a climbing wall.
Yep. Stage, music room, soundproof.
Yes, yes, that's the best. And then the worst is yeah, we just go full on Mad Max backpack and you
Yeah, travel only. We'll just only hop from Bureauland Management Land to Bureauland Management Land, where
Oh no, no, what you
even in the
do
depths of the countries they can't find us.
well, here's the thing. That's playing nice. There ain't no playing nice here. We'll have to do what the homeless did down in LA. Yeah, yeah, create
Well,
some real estate. That's called create
could
real estate.
could create that real estate. You really could.
Yeah, no, I don't understand how people think that. I mean, there's a thing called civil disobedience. It can get pretty ugly.
Yeah,
The our whole world is predicated on getting along, cooperating, and communicating. If we're not going to do that, it will simply just get ugly. What
yeah.
you
Citizen
think I'm
arrest will
going to
get
go
out of hand.
down solo? You think I'm going down solo? Uh-uh. No way, buddy. I'm taking some vacation rentals with me. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. I
You
wouldn't
know,
dare
in
touch the
high school,
vacation rentals.
when I was in high school, as a uh, as a high schooler, I would we would go to the abandoned houses in Kahala. So every single house that had a real estate sign up essentially said, "I'm open." So we would all hang out there for the wee hours of the late night into the wee hours of the morning,
Yeah, and
doing all
squat
sorts of
there.
high school things. You know.
Nice. Nice. And those are nice houses because I've been to those places. They're quite nice.
Oh yeah,
I've
man, they were really nice.
yeah, yeah, I've taken a few rest breaks on some of those mansions, where
Yeah,
the yard was available and you could just kind of squeeze through the fence or something.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it was funny when the dude who owned all those houses, um, I guess he had like some kind of dilemma between other property owners in that area, and so to mess with them, he invited all like low financed families from the west side to occupy them. So it was a
Ooh.
mess, dude. It was so disgusting. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god.
For those of you that don't know, um, that's like the nicest, richest part of Oahu, um, and the lowest classes of Oahu. So the west
Yeah.
side is sort of like the hillbillies of Hawaii. You know.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Yeah, it's funny. You know, Max Holloway comes from West Side too, so we can't really say it too harsh in
Well,
that way,
yeah.
I
Hey,
guess.
there's
But
Disney is there too now. Disney is there on the west side.
yeah, Disney's on the West Side now too.
That's right.
That's
Yeah. So
like
they,
that's like the most corrupt corporation you could put over there.
yeah. Well, the thing is
Yeah.
it's business as usual. You run an area down, and then once the property values are really low, then you go in there and gentrify it. So it's just
Yeah,
business as usual. And so they
it's a
they are
strategy.
certainly, yeah. And if you get in early, if you got a lot of money, you get in early. Yeah, you might be living in somewhat of a bad neighborhood, but you got your fence up, and the bulldozers will be coming in soon. So
Yeah,
uh, They did that on the North Shore too, like Velzy Land and all that. There was like slums, and they just let it get so bad that eventually the bulldozers came in. They put up the condos and the parking lots and the gated communities. So now I don't know if there's any slums left on the North Shore.
I'm not too sure. Well, I do know of one area specifically that was still there when I left, but again, that was like what, 6 years ago now, 5 years ago, and
Yeah.
that was 6 years ago now, and that was a spot up by shucks, that surf spot, um, silver silver channels.
Oh yeah,
Where
yeah,
was
yeah,
it? It was like far, just past the
yeah.
like
Silva is
far past
Mokuleia,
the
right?
Waialua. Yes, Mokulea. Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
Mokuleia, Mokes. And Silva.
Mokulea.
I used to live at
So
Silva
like,
Channels. That's where I
what was
lived,
that?
right on the beach. I used to live on the beach right there at Silva Channels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's like that airfield, right? You pass by the airfield,
right.
small little airfield.
Dillingham.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you keep going all the way to the point to where it turns into like a four-wheel drive trail,
right.
to get to the other side that connects to the west side,
Yeah.
and up on the left, past all the Lopaka, there's like an entire community of dudes who steal vehicles and bring them there, and they're all armed, so the cops don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So all the jacked vehicles go up to that spot on North Shore, and the cops say that they can't do anything about it because it's too enclosed and it's too like, essentially it's too life threatening for them to
Oh
go up
yeah,
there
man.
because it's like
There's a
going
lot
into
of
a forest, you
machine
know?
gun. I've heard a lot of machine guns shot at night out there.
Yeah, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
so that
And
that is still going on, I think.
wow. Yeah, I mean, I used to nomad there a lot, boondock out there a lot, and I mean, I essentially lived out in Mokuleia. That's the closest wilderness area eh, on the North Shore. So I've lived there. I built tree houses out there, and yeah, it got pretty gnarly, got mokes with just huge monster trucks just out terrorizing whoever they could.
Mokes.
Yeah. The mokes in
Oh, the
Mokalaia,
mugs.
right?
Oh, brah.
So yeah, so this is sort of just a Yum Cha sort of session, a little talk session, just to touch base since we've been somewhat not here. We've not been present for the Dirty Dojo. Like I said, it would be called the Muddy Dojo if I tried. So um, but we're definitely going to just do flash streams, and if I can catch you, then that's good. If can. If cannot, cannot. That's a famous Hawaiian philosophy. If can, brah.
if can, can. If no can, no can.
If no can, no can. That's a lot. It's
Yeah.
funny. In Hawaiian slang, they rather really exaggerate like a very short way of saying something, or they really shorten a long way of saying something.
Yeah, and it's funny, I've taught that saying to like several people, and in Japan it translates to dekiru, dekiru, dekinai, dekinai, which is like
Oh
no can,
damn.
no can.
Well, at least that sounds better. I like
It's
that.
yeah, dekiru, dekiru, dekinai, dekinai. And
Damn.
yeah, I
That
taught that to my
sounds like a
family out
song,
there,
man.
and they're like, you know, might be onto something.
Yeah, I think you are. I think you're on something, man.
I,
Uh,
I I need to start writing some more songs. I think the last song I wrote, I still haven't even like really perfected it for performance yet. Um, yeah,
hey, performance is a whole nother bird, man. I've
it is.
uh, it amazes me, like we were talking about before, how much music you can learn and perform, right? And
Yeah.
it's incredible. Some musicians' vocabulary without having any books in front of them, the amount of music they can do. And then when you step away from that, and then you come back to it. I saw an interview, George Harrison's last interview from the Beatles, and they're trying to get him to play, and he's like, I hardly play anymore. I mostly just do gardening, and he was trying to play, and he was screwing up, and I mean, just imagine somebody even like George Harrison, who's been with all
Yeah.
these other bands as well. Once you walk away from it, all just fades away rather quickly.
It does.
So
Yeah. It's
it's
difficult to maintain your your memory on all of it, really, muscle
yeah,
memory
yeah,
and brain memory. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
Well,
I
that
was
that's a
playing,
g- that's
I was trying to
that's a
play.
good segue into the martial art conversation, because we really do want to keep this martial arts. We have another stream that Chad and I do, and this stream could easily fall, like slip into that stream, which is more of just a casual stream where we talk about anything, mostly music. But
Mostly
it,
music. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, However, in for this conversation, it's the same thing with martial arts. If you don't practice your martial arts, then there is no just learning a martial art and then you know it and you're good to go. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why it's kind of weird with the whole belts and stuff. I've always thought it was weird to have belts because, man, sometimes you're just really on it, and you're very, your level is very high, right? And then
Yeah.
sometimes life happens, you
Yeah.
know, and so your level kind of goes down a little, or maybe you get ill, you get injured, you go through life circumstances that pull you away from training. So this is why Wing Chun for me was so valuable, because I understood this. I've been training since I was 4 years old, 6 years old, something like that. And training has always been important to me. And not being able to train was a problem. And when I learned Wing Chun, it especially was a problem because I came across a guy that I challenged, and he kicked my ass, and it was because I hadn't been training. Right? So I was like, "Oh man, okay, I really do got to train. This is shit." All right, so I got turned on to Wing Chun, and that is something that you can do, and you can keep it going. You can do the postures. You can just stand there and do the postures. You can do a horse stance. You can do the goat grasping or the sheep grasping stance, the Kimmy Ma, right?
Mhm.
And you're utilizing more of a what they call for us Westerners, more of a Jack LaLanne approach, uh, to I'm giving guys up above me. I didn't realize I'm not actually at the very top. So yeah, as you making sure. Because I'm right in the zone. I actually threw some discs up there. I forgot that there was another level, but I've thrown some discs up there, and exactly where I'm standing is exactly where my disc landed. So damn, these guys are so good at disc golf. It's crazy. It's just crazy. uh, so um, that's right. They're throwing right-handed, and that means that it's going to go in that direction. Oh damn! There's what just oh damn! That's a roller. Oh damn! Oh shit! So so yeah, Wing Chun is very. In fact, at once upon a time, I tried to market Wing Chun as compact martial arts, just called compact martial arts.
Mhm.
Uh, but a horse by any other name is still a horse. Yeah, Wing
Indeed.
Chun is very, it doesn't require, you can use the Mukjang, Bar Chum Do, and the pole. You can use that stuff, the sandbag. You use that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's not necessary. You can just do Wing Chun, doing the postures, stuff like that. So when I got turned on to Wing
Forms.
Chun, it really
Sand dragon.
sort of, yeah, it really set me free. Ooh, the sand dragon. Forgot about that one. It's been a while since the
Yeah,
sand dragon.
I love
Yeah,
that one. It, I haven't done it in a while too, actually. But gosh, I've been yeah, I've been
yeah.
procrastinating pretty hard. I gotta say, I gotta admit,
Well, one of the beautiful things about Wing Chun is you can really boil it down to seal and towel, because the seal and towel
Right.
is the most important thing. You can boil it down to sandbag and seal and towel. So, just make sure that before the day ends, you do a seal and towel, you do some sandbag, you're in,
Mhm.
you know,
And
and then,
it'll take less than 10 minutes
oh yeah,
unless you do a 5 minute zoom towel and then a 10-minute sandbag.
your seal and towel could take 3 minutes. Your sandbag could take another 3 minutes, and you're good. You're not
Yeah.
great, but you're good. Your muscle
Yeah.
memory, you're in there. I do the same thing with
Yeah.
weight training. Is sometimes I've got my shoulder or my elbow or something is injured. I can tell there's too much strain on it. And so instead of skipping the workout, I'll just do the I'll do lighter weight. If I couldn't do lighter weight, I would just do the movement. A good example of this is because of all the hiking, jujitsu, stuff like that. My knees, they're not bad, but I get nervous. Yeah, there's you had a roller right down there. Looking for the
Yeah. I've
disc.
been kind of nervous about my knees lately. I don't know about you, but you know how your fingers pop. You get synovial build up in your fingers, so you pop your fingers. So I have that like everywhere, every joint in my body, and especially my knees. Like at nighttime when I'm trying to go to sleep, I'll I'll even go to sleep and then I'll wake up because I need to pop my knees. It's like I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm
yeah,
worried about that. And I've been known to have like hardcore crepitus in my right knee specifically, and the one that I didn't injure actually is the one that I'm worried about because every time I take a step, like going downstairs, and I do that, I can hear it like go, and it's like,
yeah,
ugh.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well,
Uh,
you've done a lot of sports and a lot of various things that have not helped.
for real, dude.
Yeah, haven't helped it. So you gotta take that in mind.
Yeah,
But
all the footballing I've
Wing,
done with soccer footballing. Ugh.
yeah, well, Wing Chun again, you can go as deep as you need to in your Kim Yi Ma. You
Yeah,
know, um, it's just learning Wing Chun really set me free, which then put me on the path of becoming a Sifu, because you need something that you're going to be able to always do,
yeah,
and Wing Chun has that element to it. You'll pretty much be, until they lay you down and bury you. You can still do Wing Chun. And I even say lay down, you could even still lay down and be doing Wing Chun. And so, really, you could do Wing Chun up until they bury you, burn or bury, one or the other. So,
yeah,
that's something that was really powerful for me, to be able to have something that was that portable, that compact, that I'd be able to do anywhere and be able to do on any level. you know.
Like,
Lately I've been talking about also doing making sure. Now, this is, of course, for those of you that have trained in Wing Chun or any martial art for a substantial amount of time, is and you could actually do this at any point of your training. So I guess it's not isolated to longtime practitioners, but it can be a little challenging when you're first learning. That's all, and that is being able to appropriate the movements that you do in your martial art. So if you appropriate, because that, again, this is what's keeping your muscle memory. Uh, an important thing for us in jujitsu and also in Wing Chun is this arm drag. You know, really visualizing an arm drag, visualizing what it would be like for them to pull against an arm drag. Right now, here's something that's really interesting: arm drag poksao. Arm drag poksao. This is when they pull back on an arm drag, which puts them on their heels, which then all you need to do is a pox out to their center line. Just woo!
right,
So
they're off
it's
center, off balance.
yeah, yeah. And so it's though you might not get into a lot of fights, maybe never fights, maybe you never actually get into any fights. One of the things I loved about Wing Chun was that you can almost guarantee you're never going to get into a fight because it all happens so quickly, everything so
Yeah,
quickly, like from an arm drag to a pox out. That's it. Now, does that end the fight? Not necessarily, but any good fighter knows once you've offset somebody, they're very vulnerable. Once
right,
they're struggling to maintain their balance, that's your opportunity to get in there and do whatever damage you want.
right.
If you
When
don't
they're
do any
off
damage,
balance.
well, it's your fault that they come back at you. But if
Yeah,
while they're trying to catch their balance, anything from knee strikes to vulnerable, critical area strike.
yeah.
Um,
That
you
that
know,
reminds me of the of, I don't even know if it was a training session or if it was actually like a sparring session. I thought it was a training session, but with that with my ex girlfriend's dad,
oh
who's a
yeah,
Krav Maga specialist guy. He came at me like a certain way, and he was essentially just a bonsao, tonsao, pivot poxao first section of the mukjung. Is pretty much
yeah,
it. And he was so far forward pressed that he like ran forward after I set him off balance forwardly, and almost tripped over his feet like a solid like 10 meters or so. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then he came back and he was like, "Oh, well, I can come in with my knees." And then I can come in with my elbows. And he came back the same way every single time. And then it was like the same result every single time because he just his it's so interesting when you can feel the pressure of another person and direct it when you know that they're far too committed, you know?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, Wing Chun really is predicated on a thing that we are kind of talking about on our other platform. Oh no, 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 no. On this platform. We've been talking about on this platform as of late, the whole Bruce Lee story
Yeah.
and the whole thing about lying. Well, there's another word for I'm sorry, cheating. There's another word for cheating. It's called lying. Lying and cheating are pretty
Yeah,
much
no,
hand in hand, right? And
it
Wing
does.
Chun, there's a certain how shall I say this? There's a certain irony, maybe, or literalness, perhaps, a certain literalness in Wing Chun.
Literalness. Right.
Literalness me because Wing Chun is known for its deceptive hands. And
Hmm.
so there really is a deceptive nature to Wing Chun. Whereas
Right.
other martial arts may sort of purport a trueness and maybe no lying, whereas you're not going to be good at lying unless you practice lying, or trickery, whatever, however you want to title it. You got to be pretty good at it. You got to do it a lot in
Right.
order to be pretty good at it, rather. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so there is that element. There's, amongst magicians, amongst Wing Chun masters and whatnot, there is this interesting nature has that surfaces itself. Now, all of humanity is corrupt, so I mean that's an easy one, right? I mean, we're all none of us are angels. We all, have our corruptions on one level or another. But
Indeed.
but it's a story. It's a common story that's that is weaved within Wing Chun, the deceptive hands of Wing Chun. How Wing Chun, in order to survive, they would dress up in drag, and they were in the red junk operas, you know. The deceptive nature of Bruce Lee, and how the whole deception within Ip Man, my own deception of when I didn't have money, so I would write bad checks sometimes to Chris Chan, only to find out he didn't even cash checks. He would just throw them away. I mean, there's a certain. Oh, and in Chinese culture, when I was in Chinatown in Honolulu, in the shops there, they would have little signs that would say "No Kung Fu," right? No lying, no cheating, getting out of line, or like cheating in line. I think was especially what they're talking about, or pressing on a scale or something like that, lifting up on a scale, or
Yeah,
no
yeah,
kung
yeah.
fu,
With
right?
the
Because in
pinky finger, or
Chinese,
even just the nail, pinky nail.
so it may be, maybe it's in Kung Fu in general, but within Wing Chun, there is certainly this element. It's almost like a kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Because
An
especially
element of deception.
yeah, in martial arts and Asian martial arts in general, there's this altruism, there's this being honest and all that stuff, which is true. You know,
Right.
you should try to better the world around you and be good to people around you. Yes, of course, but
Yeah.
there is a
It's interesting
Sifu
how
Z. I'm sorry, but there is a Sifu Z law that confronts this issue. No trust, no truth.
unworthy of trust, unworthy of truth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Unworthy of trust, unworthy of truth. So yes, you can exercise honesty and fortitude and all that, but only to some way that is worthy of it. And
Yeah.
that's a huge part, which means you got to be good at deception, right? And and all martial arts has that. Like in boxing, man, you throw a fake, they respond to a fake, and then you knock them out. They
Mm.
all have it. You go for an arm bar, they resist the arm bar, and then you go for a triangle. All martial arts have this level of deception. Wing Chun, I would say, relies upon it more, but we're allowed to, because if you only use it as a self-defense, Wing Chun relies upon this one element, and that is this: it's self-defense. The attacker guaranteed is doing one thing, and that's what we depend upon. The attacker is attacking. That's our guarantee. As long as we know that they're coming in to attack, then we are guaranteed the our methodology. All right, get out of the way so these guys can throw. But yeah, so Wing Chun is very, very much. Um, I would say it's the king.
It's
I,
funny because there's laws, right? Unworthy of trust and unworthy of truth, and also anticipate deception.
that's right, because it's a that law. The laws aren't exclusive to Wing Chunners or even martial artists.
Right.
These the axioms that I connected to the 12 laws to Chris Chan's 12 Mook Jung combos um, are universal axioms pretty much from all over the place, but connected to the Wing Chun uh, codification, specifically the Mook Jung, Chris Chan's Mook Jung. And um, so, yeah, and then also don't fool yourself,
Yeah, it's a big one.
because who's your biggest enemy? We are. We say
Not
and do
me. Not
we
me.
say and do the worst things. If anybody was caught doing the things that we have done to ourselves or said to ourselves, we'd throw them in jail, right? We are indisputably our biggest enemy. So you have to also consider this dynamic of deceiving yourself, believing your own bullshit, you know?
Indeed.
A very interesting topic of discussion that we could, well, we can end right now. No, no, no. Well, yeah, we could go on and on about the nature of lying and self-deception and the importance of self-deception and
Yeah.
even of self-deception,
I
right?
think I think some examples like when a person is somebody gets so emotionally flustered from what another person says that the person that was emotionally flustered now does something in retort to it, maybe perhaps physically, and they say, "You made me act this way. You made me do it because you wouldn't stop talking. You made me do this, and then I had to."
Yeah. Well, there's an old Yiddish saying that I have not connected to the Wing Chun codification. Maybe I should. But it's an old Yiddish saying, which is there's nothing worse than not having someone else to blame.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude. That is a good one though. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Because if you can't find the fault within yourself, then you're living a delusion where you think you are the most perfect person ever to have existed on the planet.
I would think that most people have to have someone else to blame. I would think
Yeah.
that that's almost a universal thing that most people are afflicted with. I would say this is again where being a martial artist really is helpful. I'm not going to say it's a cure all because it's all subjective and individual, but it certainly has worked for a lot of people. And the physicality of it is this: when you're fighting, it's a lot harder to blame anyone else for losing. It's not
Yeah.
impossible though. How many
Yeah.
times have you beat a person up only for him to get up and go, "Well, you got lucky. Yeah, tried it. Let's try this
Right.
again."
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
that shows you how dense people can be, how self-delusional they can be, where even if you
Yeah.
beat their ass, they'll just come up with an excuse as to, "Oh, it wasn't my fault. I slipped on a banana." or or,
Yeah, there's a difference between you got lucky and let me try again. You know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. Let me try to
So
address my own fault one more time, kind of deal.
yeah, and so a good martial artist is going to take agency for having lost or having won a fight because you don't want to keep losing. The only way you're going to win is by understanding what you did right and what you did wrong, and then learning from that. So, but yeah, once we start talking like this, you're kind of talking to eighth graders. Which I hear eighth grade scores nationwide are really, really low. So, which this is what I wonder. I've known for a long time, or at least this is what the statistic is that most Americans read and comprehend on an eighth grade level. Just recently, I've learned the eighth grade equivalency tests and whatnot have gone really low. They're really low. So, does that mean we're now below eighth grade?
I would say so, man. I would say so. Um,
Are we back to elementary school, or is this like preschool? I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, I'm in yeah, preschool, elementary.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Hey, it's just in time. I'm so old that eventually I'll be going back into diapers if I'm lucky. So I'm just in time for this whole paradigm, intellectual paradigm change.
Yeah, I'm a little troubled because the whole idea of the DOE getting shut down and blah 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 and bringing education back to the states or the counties of which they originate from, blah blah blah, right? So I feel like that's a huge double edged sword, right? Because that's either you're going to have counties that are no longer going to go with the previous curriculum and try to do better and try to raise intellectual standards, or you're going to have the regions and counties where they will just do worse because it's an easier job, you know.
Yeah.
So it, I don't know what is going to happen with that, but yeah, the overall intellectual level is definitely decreasing, especially if now it's being advertised that higher education is not the way to go, and to some extent, I could agree because some higher educations are really dumbed down, man. you know,
Well, and things are changing so fast too, as
the
to, what I like, once upon a time you weren't allowed to use a calculator. Now, if you want to get anything done, you better bust out an calculator, you know,
yeah,
because people that don't know what 9 times 8, they don't know what 9 times 8 is, and they're arguing politics.
right, yeah, it's
I'm like, shut
it makes
up. Just go
no
back to
sense.
learning your multiplication table. I'll
Yeah,
join you. I'll join you. Come
yeah.
on, let's go back to that, man. Let's stop pretending like we know what's happening in the
Yeah,
political
just because
arena.
you're not in school anymore doesn't mean that you don't need schooling. you,
Yeah, just like it,
you
what they say in
got to
black belt,
educate yourself somehow.
when you get your black belt, that's when you start. That's when you've begun, you know.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
should be
Some
the
people
same
get their
thing.
black belt and then they just stop.
Yeah, yeah. Or they get their black belt and then claim that that's it. Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, exactly what you said. That's right. I was just about to repeat what you said, but in a lesser efficient way.
With more words. Hey, but still, reiterations are sometimes needed for people that don't understand. So,
Yeah. All right, man. Well, listen, I think this was a fun stream. I have I'm today is my Friday, meaning that usually I train on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but the weather has keeps messing with me. So today is now my Friday, so I have a session that I'm gonna do. Um, yeah, I think this is how we're going to have to do this is when the weather allows, I'll do a flash stream and hopefully you if you're available then you can join me. Otherwise, I'll just I'll go solo. But
All
I
right.
think we'll have to do it that way until the weather gets more consistent.
All right. This next week, I know I told you already. My dad and my little bro is in town, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna be spending time. But they are gonna be driving out by next Friday afternoon. So so then after that, I'll be clearly available once again.
cool.
But
Excellent.
if I can make any of them during the time, I probably won't, to be honest. Though, like I'm go
Yeah.
to say it rather than giving hope and then not having the hope afterwards.
Yeah, no worries. No, I think playing this by ear it's not a problem. If we didn't play it by ear, then we'd have to just simply not do it, right? So
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
I'd rather at least do it whenever possible for the next month or so, because I know that
Uh,
the weather's probably going to be unstable for March, all of March, and maybe even April. We'll see. We'll see. Uh,
Gotcha.
but anyway, enjoy yourself. Thanks for joining me, and everyone out there, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you. Well, we'll see who. That's a surprise. So if you want to be invited to the Dirty Dojo public live stream, go ahead and subscribe, but make sure to hit that notification bell because that's what's going to let you know when I do this stream. All right, salutations out. We'll see you soon.
All right.